Hey, it's Rob. Welcome to Axel's Garage. We are in the kitchen, and I'm looking for the baby mama's keys to her IROC because the dog wants to go out. So I'm filming this on the GoPro today. Don't normally film on the GoPro just because I film on a old video camera. And the reason why I do that is because it's so much easier to see everything. So anyway, we're going to go out here to the baby mama's IROC. I was going to wash it. She went out with someone. Went shopping, of course. What else do women do? And she left her car blocking the driveway here, which I needed to move anyway. So what I want to do is, she's got a sticky throttle. And she kind of got used to it. But it's annoying me, and it actually sticks enough where you can drive it like 30 miles an hour on a regular road and not even give it any gas because the throttle sticks. But then if you tap the gas, it goes back down, and we haven't been able to figure out really what the deal was on that throttle. So I'm going to go take it for a ride, see if I can get the throttle to stick, and then pop the hood and see if the cable itself is not returning all the way. We'll try to figure out why it's sticking. Hopefully it's just a clean and lube kind of repair, but we're going to check it out. All right, we got what seems to be a little bit of a high idle. If the tack worked, I'd actually be able to say, oh, now it came down a little. All right, so it seems like it's pretty good. It looks like she's got almost no gas in it, which is usual. Let's see if we can go get this idle to stick a little bit. Let me just try giving it a little gas. Go. It's sticking. Now, if you tap it, comes back down. Here we go. I gave it a little bit of gas, and it is staying up that high, which is definitely shouldn't be. So, let's open the hood, see what it looks like in the engine compartment. so as you can see, I did it twice, and I got it to stick just by rotating the throttle a little bit, and then went over to the throttle position sensor, unplugged it, and it was able to, I could not get it to stick with the throttle position sensor unplugged, so it only sticks with a plug. So it could be a bad throttle position sensor. The lower screw on the throttle position sensor does have a little vacuum hose interfering with it. So I am going to unplug it, try to move it out of the way as best I could, because you know, some of these vacuum hoses can be they're very brittle, especially the little hard plastic ends of them. We already have broken a few. And they're all over the place in these cars. Alright, so this throttle position sensor's got some spring to it on this end. That's the throttle in there. So if this was getting stuck like this shouldn't have anything to do with this getting stuck this way, because there's no way for the throttle position sensor to push. The throttle pushes down and this springs back. So even if this thing was messed up and this thing was down here, it's not going to push the throttle down because the throttle sits on top of this. So this, I don't see how this could be an issue.
What happened?
Doesn't make sense. You know how it gets stuck, the higher it gets stuck? Every now and then I'm trying to figure that out now.
I got your stuff.
My stuff?
Our stuff.
Your stuff?
Our stuff.
So I'm thinking that, but why, when I unplug the throttle position sensor, see, I can't get this to jam without the throttle position sensor connected. Alright, so mechanically the throttle position sensor doesn't seem like it should cause the throttle to stick open, but I don't know if it does it electronically. So let's go in here, and I'm going to put the bottom screw about right in the middle, and I'm going to leave the top one loose. So let me tighten this bottom one. Now these are not the right screws. I'm sure somebody noticed. Alright, it's a little too tight. Alright, so now that's snug enough where I could move the top like this to adjust this thing. And I can't wrap my head around, can't really wrap my head around how this would cause it to stick, but let's make sure that it is functioning properly. So you're gonna, if you have a back probe, but if not, you could probably just stick that in, and then you're gonna put your ground on a ground. Make sure you got a good ground going. I should be able to stick it on something to grab a ground. That's not. Sometimes you could wedge it into the shock tower somewhere. Ooh, that looks like it could be ground there. Alright, so I got the top bolt here loose, the bottom bolt snug so I could move the throttle position sensor. I got the middle probe, the middle wire back probed, and I got it going, the other end going to ground. And when I move the throttle position sensor, it should change the reading, which it's really not, which means I'm either not good in here or I don't have a good ground. I'm going to check the ground first. Alright, so I went back to Grandpa Ray and got a multimeter from him, and you can see it's at 0.30. If I pull down, it goes down. Let me move it that way. Alright, the goal is 0.54. I still don't think this is going to do it. I can't see how this is going to 0.54 right there. I can't see how this is going to solve it from hanging. See, as soon as you go a little touch, that's why you always gotta that went too high. Let's see if I tighten it, if it goes down a little. Loosen it. I just can't see. 0.54. I just can't see how this reading is going to cause the throttle to stick mechanically. It just doesn't make sense to me. I just can't wrap my head around it. So alright, so that's in there nice and tight. These are the vacuum lines that I popped off so I wouldn't break them. See how close that one is to the screw there. I'll plug these two back in. Now when you rotate the throttle, it should go up, and it does. It came back down, it's a 0.55. I'm satisfied with that. It does hit 4. Yeah, it's teetering on 0.54, 0.55. Alright, so now when you go up, it should go up. I'm just rotating the throttle like you were pressing it. And that's wide open throttle, 4.87. So let's take that out, get this out of the way. And I'm going to start the car up and see if I can get that idle to stick again. Not happy, but it's running again. I don't know how much of that I actually got, but it is. I turned it off. The idle was all over the place. It was almost like I couldn't even control it. But it wasn't mechanical. It was computer generated because the throttle was actually sitting on the throttle stop. So I shut the car off, waited a couple minutes, had some coffee, came back, turned the ignition on, adjusted to 0.54 again, and tightened it down, made sure it was 0.54, turned the ignition off, had the rest of my coffee, started the car up. Now it seems to be idling okay. So let's go for a ride and see what happens. Okay, feels good. Idle's nice and low. It's actually the lowest it's been. For the first time, it actually feels like it's in the right spot. I didn't adjust that idle stop screw at all. It actually feels nice. throttle is not out of control like it was when it was just sitting and I was playing with it. See, it would hang. When we do that, it would hang. It's actually coming off now. Okay. See, when I was hitting the throttle hard, it was dying. It was almost dying. It was just a complete dead spot, you know, for it. But now, could that have been it all along? An improperly adjusted TPS? I mean, there's a little bog, but nothing that I'd really... I mean, Michelle will never notice a bog. She's never going to do that. Oh, wow. It's fixed. I think we might be fixed. See how much of a bog there is. All right. 3, 2, 1. No. I'm not seeing really a bog. I think we're okay. All right, so if it was that simple, an improperly adjusted throttle position sensor that was causing the idle to mechanically stick up, which I can't wrap my head around. Maybe somebody in the comments below could tell me what the heck was going on, but I don't know how it could mechanically be making the throttle stick. We adjusted it to 0.54 and then turned the key. The problem was I wasn't turning the key off and then back on, I think. So initially, to recap, I adjusted it to 0.54, and then what would happen is I would just start the car, and then the idle would be out of control all over the place. And even when I blipped it, it would bog like crazy when it was sitting in the front of the driveway there. So the last time what I did was I shut it off, then I turned the ignition on, adjusted it to 0.54, shut it off again, then started it up, and the idle is the best it's been, and the throttle response seems to be fine. So we're going to call it fixed. I'm going to give it back to Michelle. She's going to drive it around. Let's see if she notices anything. I'm not even going to tell her I did anything. See if she notices anything, and then we'll call it fixed. If not, I'll do another video where we'll be replacing that throttle position sensor, because I have a feeling that if she does experience a problem, I have a feeling that throttle position sensor is probably bad. In the meantime, I need to go online and order myself a new multimeter so that I don't have to go over to Grumpy Grandpa Ray every time I need one and borrow his. As always, thanks for watching.